He needs to. Say anything or no? It's okay.
Shabbat Shalom. It's been about a month since my last ski trip, which will be my last ski trip of the season. And I haven't put away my long underwear and my parka and my ski clothes. And the reason I haven't put them away is that the cleanup is part of the event, right? I look at those clothes and I remember being there and I remember what it felt like. And so I'm avoiding closing it completely by putting everything away. And just like the cleanup is part of the event, so too is the setup. So too is all that preparation. We are in one of the biggest weeks that the Jewish people have of preparation. And our tradition teaches that the Seder is sacred and so important. And so is all the cooking and cleaning and chopping and setting of the table and bringing out the dishes. All of that is part of the sacred event. So as we enter this Shabbat, quite literally 1 week away from the start of Pesach, I want to wish everybody not only a meaningful Pesach, but a meaningful week of preparation. May it be filled with anticipation and joy and a little taste of the holiday itself. Shabbat Shalom.
Page 15.
These beautiful songs of love that accompany the spring season and Pesach. Dodi Li. Sarah, would you bring your family on up to lead us in candle lighting a few weeks before you become bat mitzvah? And we're so happy to celebrate with you.
Baruch atah Adonai אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קישרנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. Page 23. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, שם תפארת ולתהילה לך דודי. לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה לך דודי. לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מבוא הברכה, לראש מקדם לסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי. לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה לך דודי. לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה ומצאי מתוך חפץ רב לך שבט עמק הבכה, והוא יחם עלייכם ללכת דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לכת דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התנערי מעפר כולי שפיתתי בתחמי על יד בן ישי בקלחי קרבה נפשי גאלה לכת דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לכת דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי באו לקומי אורי 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 שתדברי דבר אדוני עלייכם ללכת דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לכת דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקמי מה תשכחי ומה תחמי בך יחפשו אני אעמי ונבנתה עירתי לך לכת דודי לקראת כלה ידדה 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 פני שבת נקבלה לכת דודי לקראת כלה ידדה 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 פני שבת נקבלה והיו למשיסה סוסייך ורחקו כל מבלעייך בסיס עלייך אלוהייך עם סוס קטן על כלה לכת דודי לקראת כלה ידדה 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 פני שבת נקבלה לכת דודי לקראת כלה ידדה 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 פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על יריש בן פרצי ונשמחה ונגינה לכת דודי לקראת כלה ידדה 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 פני שבת נקבלה לכת דודי לקראת כלה ידדה 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 פני שבת נקבלה. We faced the door we came in. בואי בשלום עטרת בלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה יחמוני ים סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לכת דודי לקראת כלה ידדה 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 פני שבת נקבלה לכת דודי לקראת כלה ידדה 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 פני שבת נקבלה. Please stay standing and face the east. La 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 Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach
Song of Songs, that beautiful text, takes place in a garden, a flourishing, abundant garden. We have many gardens in the Jewish tradition. The Garden of Eden, of course, which represents not just physical beauty, but a place of holiness and sanctity and fullness. Our beloved state of Israel was built on gardening. So taking a few moments, taking a few deep breaths, and taking yourself to a beautiful garden. Maybe you were lucky enough to be on the garden aisle of Kauai sometime. Maybe your grandparents grew their own tomatoes and cucumbers. Maybe you have your own California garden, big or small. Sacred ground, so holy. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening fall.
Page 38. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. And you shall love Adonai your God with all of your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. hilot עושה פלא השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום להעמידנו שומרנו לחיים השכיבנו שומרנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך השכיבנו העמידנו שומרנו לחיים ושמות צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם השכיבנו העמידנו שומרנו לחיים לחיים la 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 ושמנו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמנו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ושמנו בני Page 17. Hinach yafa rayati, hinach yafa einayich yoni, mibad letzamate, sarech ke'eder ha'izi, mibad letzamate, sarech ke'eder ha'izi, שגלשו מהר גלעד, שרך כעדר העזים, שגלשו מהר הר גלעד, הנך יפה, הנך יפה, הנך יפה, רעייתי.
Turning to Misha Berach, pouring that love that comes through so clearly in Song of Songs, that comes through so clearly in springtime, pouring that love into all those who need our prayers tonight for healing, all those who are hurting in body, in mind, and in soul. In addition to those on our Misha Berach list, if there's a name you'd like to say, I'll invite you to say it out loud or type it into the chat. And we'll hold all those in need of healing in our hearts.
Jenny and Talia. Ana Elna Refana la Ana Elna Refana la Ana Elna
In addition to talking about redemption and springtime, this is the time of year when the Jewish people talk about stigma. And the reason we talk about stigma is that these parshiot that were in these Torah portions address tzara'at. It's usually translated as leprosy, but it's more accurately a severe skin affliction. And the affected person is required to leave the camp to enter quarantine, a concept we've grown quite familiar with in recent years. And as we know, quarantine is lonely and isolating. So the person afflicted has physical pain and emotional pain. And we know that even under the most innocent of circumstances, that loneliness, it's difficult for us to separate that loneliness from a deep sense of shame and stigma. For many, in biblical times, the tzara'at was temporary. So the person would go out, the priests, the experts at the time, would inspect the person, and once they determined that the disease was gone, they were welcomed back into the community happily and formally. It's a little bit like the CDC, the experts, telling us how long a quarantine has to last. We wait, and then thankfully, blessedly, it's all over, and we return to life. But for some, tzara'at was actually a persistent condition. Those individuals were subject to a lifetime of isolation. There was no return to the camp. And to make matters worse, the Metzora, the afflicted person, is commanded in this week's Parsha to be the guardian of their own quarantine. What we read is, as for the person with the leprous infection, the clothes shall be rent, the head shall be bare, the upper lip shall be covered, and the person shall call out, impure, impure. Let's break down what that means. Part of it had to do with dress and appearance, rending clothes, shaving the head, and so on. Those were the signs of mourning. The person with Metzora carried the appearance of a person in grief. As commentator Gordon Wenham writes, it was little wonder that when a person was diagnosed as impure, that person went into mourning. They experienced a living death. Their life as a member of God's people, experiencing God's blessing, came to an end. But what about this thing at the end? This person shall call out, impure, impure. The classic understanding is that the person was responsible to guard their own quarantine, to make sure that nobody came close. The skin disease was so very contagious that the person suffering from it had to verbally ensure at all times that nobody entered their presence by calling out, impure, impure, I'm impure. Which maybe makes sense from a public health perspective. But my goodness, cruelty, such cruelty on top of the profound pain of the physical disease and the emotional isolation. But as Rabbi Shai Held points out, the rabbis of the Talmud turn this commandment completely on its head. They say, the one with leprosy publicizes their ritual impurity. They announce their pain to the masses, and then the masses will pray for compassion on their behalf. So say the sages, the Metzora, the person with leprosy, is not insisting that people stay away. That person is ensuring that in a world in which people must physically stay away, that they find a way to be emotionally close through prayer and understanding. It's actually an audacious move by the rabbis. And the truth is, they know exactly what they're doing. They're intentionally misreading the text so that it's not about public health, as important as that is. It's about compassion and understanding and love. Which makes me think, just call to mind for 1 second the things about which we feel shame and stigma. The places where we feel rejected, cast out. I'm not asking you to do this right now, but just for the sake of the thought experiment, What if instead of hiding those things, instead of working so hard to hide them, what if we called them out at the top of our lungs? What if we said as often as we needed, I am hurting. Please pray for me. And what if everybody, all the time, responded with compassion and understanding and love? That's a world I'd like to live in. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, that's a great question. We are going to turn to page 282 and rise, and we are going to pray the later sections of Aleinu. So let me just find it real quick so I can direct you to the exact right place. 282. And Aleinu is an interesting and complicated prayer. Some of us studied it together this week. And the essence of the words we're about to say is this beautiful vision that God will unite us and bring us together. In fact, you know what? I'm going to permit me 1 minute to read this beautiful interpretation by Rabbi Richard Levy. It's on page 285, and then we'll turn to the actual words, Ein Od. But here's the essence. May the time not be distant, O God, when your enduring rule shall be established on earth, when justice shall prevail in the land, when evil will be destroyed, and the strong shall no more oppress the weak. May sin be cleansed from the heart of every person, and may all people exercise the just power over their lives that is their birthright. Growing in wisdom, may we overflow like a river with understanding. May our arms embrace all suffering people, and may we each be loved for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never raise a fist except to conquer fear and doubt and grave despair. O God, rise up like the sun over all humanity. Cause your light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. We'll face east.
Hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim. These words are at the bottom of page 282, 4 lines from the bottom. Hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim. Hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim. Ein od milvado, ein od efes lato, ein od
Please be seated as we turn to page 292, Kaddish Yatom. We are thinking especially tonight and remembering Leah Citron Aronson, Max Cohen, Dave Cooper, Harold Copans, Helen Dixon, Frida Dueck, Harold Gold, Louis Goldberg, Will Grossman, Albert Hausner, Anna Heller, Zoe Homewood Church, Beverly Jean Howard, Edwin Joseph, Mary Kleinhandler, Elle Klubis, Herman Cooperberg, Leon Landau, Mina Langbird-Wilner, Eleanor Lanter, Dawn Levine, Ann Lipsman, Alexander Litvak, Hilda Mandel, Phyllis Marks, Robert Moe Morrison, Jerome Perlman, Helen Rogath Steckler, David Rose, Herbert Rosenzweig, Ben Salvati, Faye Samuelon, Theodore Schwartz, Selma Sobel, Hyman Stern, Raquel Teplitskaya, Stanley Tisch, Sam Walensky, Alan Lee Weiner, Harry Zaritsky. Those who have died in recent days, we remember Matthew Bernstein, Morris Blatt, Paul Neidich, Jose Lieberman, and we acknowledge the death and upcoming burial of Stephanie Denise Gregory Mitchell. If I shared the name of your loved one, I invite you to please rise. We ask that Hamakom Yinachem Etchem, that God provide you with comfort. If I did not share the name of your loved one and there's somebody you'd like to remember tonight, I invite you to please rise and share their name. Our hearts are with you. We pray for your comfort and your wholeness. I'll invite the congregation to rise in solidarity as those who are in mourning lead us on page 292, Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemeh. Amen. Be'alma divrach hiruteh ve'amlich malchuteh. B'chayechon Beit Yisrael. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Lamei Almaya. Yitbarach Vitadar Vitale Vitalal Brichu Tushbechata Venechemata Damiran. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah.
Amen.
Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu.
Shalom,
couple of quick announcements. There's lots of great stuff coming up. Take a look in your brochure and on our website. Yachad, our young adults, you're going to meet Leah at the back there and enjoy a little nosh afterward tonight. There is still an opportunity to join us tomorrow for the Havdalah and concert. We're raising money to support folks in Ukraine. You can sign up online. You can show up, and we'll get you in. We'd love to spend tomorrow evening with you. Sarah, would you please come on back up and lead us in Kiddush and Motzi?
Oh, one sec. Let me get to the right page. Yep. Sorry. That's this one right there. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon hilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikrae kodesh, zecher tziyat mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodsheha, ve'ahava uvratzon hinotanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat
L'chaim.
And you can, give that to your dad, and then you can lead us in the Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
B'tei avon. Beautifully done.
Shalom, everybody.
Alai, la, 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 alai, la, 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 alai, la, 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 alai, la, 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 alai, la, 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 alai, la, 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 alai, la, 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 alai, la, 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 la. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. La 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Hello, everyone at home. It's so good to see your faces. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat Shalom.